Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. Yes, 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 yes. What's up, people? Welcome to Future Pilot Debrief on Future Pilot 901. My name is D. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy New Month's Eve. Happy Half Year's Eve. All kinds of happy. Happy new show. I've been thinking about getting back to the live thing for a little while. And then I decided, why not? You know, when you've got an idea and you just kind of sit on it for a little while, and then at some point you just go, today's the day, and then you make it happen when you're not ready. That's how it goes. How's everyone doing? I hope you are doing all good. I've got some interesting things lined up for today, for the first show. So a bit of a catch up. I'm going to have a bit of a catch up. What's been happening in the Future Pilot 901 world. There's a new safety sense leaflet out, pilot health and performance. So we'll be having a look at that if you're interested in that kind of thing. Recently, I'm fresh. As you can tell, I've got a tan. I'm fresh off a trip from, or trip to Brighton, shall I say. Although I joke about the tan because funny enough, whilst we were there, it was all cloudy. And then I left and it got sunny. So there you go. That's life for you. But also, I want to share with you some very interesting YouTube videos. And maybe, depending on if I'm feeling loose, I might just share with you a sneak peek of a couple of projects that I'm working on to get your opinion. But for now, cheers. It's really hot out here in London. Today it's been super, super hot. So I hope you guys are keeping hydrated. I hope you are staying cool. And I hope above all that you are still living your dreams. All right. By the way, streaming now on YouTube and on kick.com/Future Pilot 91. So we're on Kick too. Shout out to the Kick. Shout out to the Kick people. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. So let's start out with a bit of a roundup of this last trip. So I started a new project. I started a new very, very exciting project. As some of you might know, I was in the dance industry for a long time before I got into aviation. And basically, despite not working as a dancer anymore, I decided to keep my dance alive. And I do that now through salsa because it's more interactive. I still get to get out because especially when you're video editing a lot, working a lot, doing various projects, it's very easy just to be in my little cocoon and never really socialize with anyone. I like my own company. Right? But I decided, you know what? It's important to be social. So I started doing salsa back in 2019. And I've been enjoying it ever since. So what I decided this year, I had a thought because I saw somebody dancing in Brighton. And I was like, that looks like a really nice spot to dance. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to fly out there and I'm going to go dance salsa. And I thought, do you know what? Why don't I start flying to different places and just do salsa? Instead of flying there and just staying in the airfield and eating and flying back, why not actually start exploring the area? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of this last trip. Let's see. Let's see. If I share, to share audio, share a tab or a screen instead. Right. Let me cancel that. I'm going to show you guys. You're going to recognize some faces on there. You're going to recognize who's in there. Give me a second. Boo. Bosh. Bosh. So this is probably going to be the next video that's going to be uploaded on the channel. Way. Let's go here. Let's see. Look, it's Chris. Are you not playing now? So this was... Pause. Let's have a look. Whoa. Let's have a look. All right, that's working good. Hide that. Let's go. Right, so this was Friday. Yeesh. I tell you, we were trying to get out of Rochester before airfield closed. And then we got airborne. And it was turbulent. Have a watch. Watch it. So I don't actually think that video does it justice because there's probably a lot of like image stabilization, but man, that was bumpy as it was bumpy, let's just say. I should probably explain, because if you're joining Future Pilot 901 on YouTube at this time, you're probably wondering why the last videos you've seen are of me as a student pilot, and suddenly now I'm in the aircraft flying on my own without an instructor. That's because season 2 is like 3 years behind. Yeah, life's been busy. Life's been lifing. I've been very busy doing like working full time, filmmaking for air pilots, building hours. I was studying business management and French remotely, doing a degree. So it's like all of that together in one go was just crazy. So I had to let the YouTube down. But I'm hoping to start posting again. I'm hoping to start putting videos out again, starting with Brighton. So that was a little sneak peek of what is coming soon on the channel. Yo. Super. So, as I mentioned before, some of you might know. There's a new safety sense leaflet out there, pilot health and performance. So shall we take a look at that? If you want to know where to find these stuff, you can easily Google it. But let's see what it says. Particularly useful for people in GA, in the UK, and yeah, it's quite a useful document. I was having a look at earlier, and especially if you're a student pilot, you're trying to get into the GA world, you're a private pilot. It's quite useful just to stay abreast of these things. Stay abreast of these things. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Alrighty. Safety Sense Leaflet 24, Pilot Health and Performance. With these documents, always useful to actually make sure that you've got the latest one. Obviously, we are on the CAA website, so it's the latest one. But yeah, you always want to double check that you've got the latest one, because sometimes there are little changes. For example, in January, it became, don't quote me fully, but loosely, it became mandatory to have carbon monoxide detector when you're flying single engine piston aircraft. So yeah, you have to have that with you since January 1st. It can be off the counter, off the shelf type of carbon monoxide detector. It doesn't have to be like aviation grade. From what I read from one of these documents, let me see. Let's see, carbon monoxide. So it's probably in here. Carbon monoxide, fitting a carbon monoxide detector. And it doesn't have to be fitted onto the aircraft either. You can have it a portable one. That's what I read. But do your own research. Don't quote me. This is not the main topic of today. I'm just kind of given the importance, or trying to share the importance of actually having the latest information. So anyways, it's their CAA Safety Sense leaflets if you want to have a look. I'm going to go to, let me see, where am I going to go to? I'm going to share this one, the new one. All right, let's have a look. Let's look through this document. I've been thinking about doing videos in French. Are there any French speakers that watch this channel? If they do, if you are French speaking, drop a comment. Let me know. Would you like me to do a French video? Why? Because I feel like it would actually allow me to exercise my French. It would be interesting to do a video in French. Let's see. Okay. So, your Safety Sense leaflet for pilot health and performance. This Safety Sense leaflet is an introduction to pilot health and performance, including the consideration pilots must make before flight. SSLs are aimed at private pilots, and this leaflet includes guidance on the health risks associated with flying and how to stay healthy as a pilot. Now, I'm not going to read everything. There's just a couple of bits I wanted to pull out before I move on with the show, but we're going to just take some time to take this in. Your health and performance. Being a safe pilot requires an appropriate level of human, mental, and physical performance. You'd think so. And that is the case. A variety of issues can interfere with human performance, including but not limited to health problems. Factors affecting stress, fatigue, hydration and nutrition, alcohol, mental health, especially when it's hot, right? Hydration and nutrition is so important. It's interesting because, like, whenever I fly, I always have like water, coffee, snacks, because it's funny how long I can go without eating and not realize it. So I've got about a 2-hour drive to the airfield. Then I usually get the aircraft ready. Then I probably have another hour flight. And if we're just landing and coming back, then that's another hour. Then jump in the car, 2-hour flight. Before you know it, I've done like 6-7 hours, full concentration without eating. And so it's so important. It's very easy to get caught out. It's very easy to get caught out. But what you don't want to do is need to go to the toilet when you're in the plane. So yeah, you got to go before, especially when you're in a Cessna, which I fly with people who've never flown GA before, and I always tell them, go to the toilet before. Otherwise, bring a bottle to pee in. But on the other hand of it is actually, making sure that you're nourished. Anyways, speeding on. Alcohol. In the UK, pilots might... Oh, this was interesting. In the UK, pilots must not exercise privileges of their license if their blood alcohol concentration exceeds 20 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood. These standards are specified in UK law and are more stringent than current driving alcohol standards. That I found very interesting. That is more stringent, obviously expected, but sometimes people, again, if you've never read this stuff, you just think, oh yeah, like I kind of know, the length of time from drinking when I drive. So with flying, I must be cool. So it's like, nah, you need to be mindful of that. So in practice, any alcohol consumed in the previous 24 hours could lead to a positive alcohol test. And that's not something that you want. As you can see, this is June 2025, so it's fresh, literally published today. Of course, there's mental health, medical incapacitation. Let's have a look. The most critical causes of sudden incapacitation are related to the heart, blood vessels, and the brain, as even brief disruptions in circulation or brain function can lead to immediate incapacitation. Do you know what that made me think of? That made me think of this video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a very interesting video. Kind of tragic, but also like crazy. And I won't say much actually. Let me have a look. No, I don't. A lot of people have covered it. A lot of people have covered it now. I want the original video. Damn it. Let's see. Wait, I'll share my screen. I could have shared that a lot easier actually. Let's have a look. Okay, so Pilot Debrief has covered it. That's probably worth watching because he's great. Other people, it must be like right at the bottom of the archives now. But I remember seeing the original video, which is basically, it was mostly radio actually, the radio telephony. And this woman was with her husband. Husband must have had like a heart attack and died mid-air, mid-flight. and she had to land. She had to land the plane. Passenger or pilot dies mid-flight, and the passenger has to land the plane. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane. That is literally insane. If I was if I was the passenger in that situation, I don't know what I would do. And that's why when I fly, I try to have my passengers know what's happening just in case. Although I've got no health risks, but there's always something in the back of my head that's like, yeah, I never want them to not be able to stay alive if I don't, but these are the risks. We don't like talking about it, but I don't like talking about it, but it's the reality of general aviation. And funny enough, I came across this safety sense leaflet. I can't find the video, so I'll let that go. Maybe I'll show the video next time. Care of passengers. I'm quite interested to read that. I'm sure there's something interesting on there. Care of passengers. Yeah. But back to the safety sense leaflet. Okay, so medical incapacitation risks. That is a risk. So it's very important to be aware of this. Especially when you're young, you don't think about these things. But when you start aging, you've got to be aware of these things. Hearing and flying. Hearing and flying. Adequate hearing is essential for safe flight. See, that's why none of my exes can ever be pilots. Do you know why? They could never be pilots because they don't listen. Here's another interesting bit. If you require glasses or contact lenses as a pilot, you must wear a spare pair of glasses when you are flying. Now, you probably get told this when you do your medical, which I got told. But actually, I don't need my glasses to fly. But it's smart to carry a spare pair. And sometimes people ask me like, oh, can you still be a pilot if you have to wear glasses? Well, there's your answer. You can be, as long as you can correct your vision, then you can be a pilot. Obviously, if you're going military route, then that's a totally different story. But if you're doing general aviation or even commercial aviation, as long as you can correct it, you're good. Now, I'm safe. This is one of those acronyms. Or mnemonics, shall I say. That's really important. It's a self-assessment, basically. Let's have a read. I am safe. You must become effective at self-assessment and determining whether you are fit to fly. Plan an adequate sleep opportunity of at least 8 hours prior to the day of a flight. Flying should not take place less than 8 hours after any alcohol consumption. If you have consumed significant quantities, you may have to wait up to 24 hours for the alcohol to leave the body. Eat a healthy meal of moderate size within several hours of a flight. Avoid excessive carbohydrates that may cause a rapid increase and subsequent fall in sugar levels. The CAA recommends the use of the I am safe mnemonic to quickly assess the key day-to-day threats to flight safety from health and performance. This mnemonic summarizes much of the guidance in the SSL or Safety Sense leaflet, and we advise using the checklist before setting off to the aircraft in the same way you would check the weather, NOTAMs, or carry out pre-flights. So, I am safe. What does it stand for? I, illness. Do you have any symptoms that might affect? Do I have any symptoms that might affect my ability to fly? A, attitude. Am I emotionally ready and fully focused on the flight? I'm going to tell you guys a story about that. M, medication. Am I taking in prescription, over-the-counter drugs that might affect my performance? Stress. Am I under any pressure or any worries or anxieties? Alcohol, fatigue, eating. Basically, make sure you're fully nourished, you're not tired, you haven't consumed alcohol. So that is essentially the safety sense leaflet to do with pilot health and performance. So make sure you have a look. It talks about hypoxia as well, hyperventilation, health risks of flying, gas expansion, hypoxia and hyperventilation, heat and cold, carbon monoxide. So you can have a read if you want. I just want to kind of give you a sense of what's on there, so you know what to look out for, or have some idea of what's in there, because I know some people don't read this. I had a read of it all earlier today. I just speed read it, but I thought maybe this might be a good introduction to get more people reading this stuff, because it's really useful to know. It's really important. Motion sickness, spatial disorientation. I highlighted this part. If you unintentionally enter cloud, the best course of action is to trust your instrument, level the wings, and stabilize your flight path before trying to regain visual references. Further guidance on spatial disorientation is available. Safety Sense Leaflet 33 VFR flight. Then it talks about staying healthy. Oh, did you guys know this? At least 150 minutes of moderate exertion activity or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week is recommended for adults. That's interesting. How many of us actually do that? I would like to know. Drop it in the chat. Is that something you do? Do you meet that criteria? Be interesting to know. Then balanced diet, medical fitness requirement, blah, 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 blah. Have a read. Anyways, I want to tell you guys a story of a time when I made a decision to not fly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes that is the safest decision you can make, to not fly. And I think that decision is underrated. It's underrated. So I was supposed to fly, and I was going to take somebody with me, and it was supposed to be a nice time. I probably wasn't going to post this video like I post my other flying videos, or like I haven't been posting my other flying videos for the last 2 years. Sorry, guys, my bad. I'll post some more, I promise. I actually crossed my fingers in promising you, so I probably won't. No, I'm joking. I will try to post more. No, I won't try. I will post more videos. But back to the story. So I was supposed to go on this flight. It's supposed to be a nice flight. I told the passenger to bring certain things with them, right? Because I knew the kind of flight we would do. And they didn't bring the stuff they were supposed to bring. And then I'm briefing them about the flight, and I'm like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going. This is how it's going to happen. And I got that, like, you know, when somebody's like, all right, just get on with it. Like, what? I was like, so we're going to, you know, the weather looks decent. There might be a bit of turbulence. And they're like, Can't we just do this in the aircraft? I was like, yo, I'm the pilot. If you don't listen to me, we're not going nowhere. I was like, look, I get it. Fine. Look, you're improvising. Hey, I've got no issues with that. Yeah. I was like, look, just if you're gonna like not have the things I've told you and actually intentionally not have it, just let me know, because then I can take into account, and I kind of need to know for safety reasons. That way I can kind of, come up with backup plans, right? And they were like, yeah, no, I don't think it's that important. What? So wait, I'm the pilot. I've done the training. I'm telling you this thing is important. And you're telling me that it's not important? Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be vulnerable, right? I lost my shit. I had to step away and calm myself down, because I was just like, there is no way this is happening. There's no way. But afterwards, I did apologize. I was like, look, my bad. I kind of lost it a little bit there, my bad. But everything I am saying is for safety reasons. It really is. But they didn't believe me. They didn't think I was saying things for safety reasons. They thought I was trying to control the situation. And so I didn't get a sense of confidence that this person is actually, respects my authority as pilot in command, right? And so they're like, so can we go on the flight now? And I was like, sorry, we're not going on a flight. It's like, sorry, we can't. As much as I want to, can't go on a flight because it poses a risk, So, yeah, because it takes one tiny little thing. There's tension. Before you know it, you're not thinking clearly. Your reaction times slow down. Your clarity of mind is non-existent because you're foggy, mentally speaking. And then, you miss out little bits. You don't say certain things because there's tension. I'm like, nah, I love my life. I'm not trying to die. So, yeah. And I think that's the aspect of flying, especially in the early days during general aviation training, or even PPL level. Certainly in my experience so far, I haven't heard anyone yet talk about, a pilot having to make a decision to not fly because of a passenger. Usually I've heard it because the weather is a bit dodge. Because the weather is a bit dodge, or maybe you're not feeling healthy or safe or whatever. Like, it's usually about the pilot or the weather. It's never really about the passengers, right? But this was my experience. Of actually having to say no to a passenger that I wasn't going to fly, and no matter what they said, it was never going to fly. Unless I felt like they were on board, and I've flown with other people. I remember flying with a younger pilot. He'd just got his license. He was 17 at the time. And he said to me, like, do you mind wiping the windshield? I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it for you. And then he was like, oh, don't wipe it in straight lines. Can you do it like that? I was like, now, in my mind, I'm thinking, Does it really make that much of a difference? But at the end of the day, he's the pilot in command. If he wants me to wipe the windshield in zigzags, I will do it in zigzags, right? Because he's the pilot in command. Like, my part of my role in that situation is to make him as comfortable as possible, especially since my life is going to be in his hands. The last thing I want to do is piss him off on the ground, and have him not at the top of his game. So when people fly with me, I kind of expect the same. Obviously, my part is to be as respectful and as cordial as possible, but I need compliance, essentially. Otherwise, we're not flying. So yeah, that was an experience. That was an experience. And if you've never had that experience yet, you probably will have it one day if you're flying around. So shout out to people in the chat. Thank you very much for joining. However, whenever you've joined, welcome. This is the Future Pilot Debrief live, 7 p.m. on Mondays, 7 p.m. UK time. My name is D. And this channel is all about my journey becoming a pilot and working my way towards becoming a commercial pilot. Anyways, speaking of commercial, it's time for a commercial break. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. Okay, so it looks like it's actually showing. It's not showing it to me, so let's try again. All right. Yep. Teething problems, guys. Don't shoot me. You know, if you ask anybody who's accomplished anything in life, you ask them, what's the advice that you can give me? Most people actually say, just start. All right. Yep. Teething problems. They say, just get started. You can't steer a parked car, right? You have to actually be moving to steer a car or a plane. You can't improve something you haven't started. So you have to get started. So guys, this is the first episode. So we're going to have some teething issues, but it's going to be an adventure. I can tell you that much. All right. Well, up next, I want to share with you guys one of the videos. Do you know what? I'm not going to say much. But if you've ever messed up, I want you to watch this video. I'm only going to play a part of it, but the link is in the description of this video, of this, in the description section. But I saw this video back in 2019 as I was getting started. And it was very interesting. Let's have a watch.
Cessna 260 Sierra, Quebec. Nice and clear. Nice and clear. Don't slur it all together. Okay, so Griffith traffic. This is Cessna 260 Sierra, Quebec. Departing runway. See that runway right there?
26.
26. Okay?
Runway 26.
26. Separate it.
26.
There. Don't just say it together. 26. Say 26 at Griffith. So all together it'll sound like this. Griffith traffic. This is Cessna 260 Sierra, Quebec. Departing runway 26 at Griffith.
Griffith traffic, this is Cessna 260 Sierra, Quebec. Departing runway 26, Griffith.
All right. Good job.
Do you know what? Yeah, I have to say, actually, his first radio call was way better than my first radio call. I'm actually quite impressed. So this is Wade's first ever flying lesson, right? Let's have a watch.
We're still clear on the left, clear on the right. Always do another check there. Still clear on the left, still clear on the right. Okay. And we're going to follow that yellow line right around. Right around. Okay, go ahead and stop the airplane once we are on the heading at 260. Go ahead and stop the airplane. The brakes. There we go. And we just stop it nice and steady. We don't have to cram on them, nice and steady. Okay, now go ahead and release the brakes. Okay, looking at our heading indicator here. Make sure we're 260 is good there. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the throttle all the way in. All right, so throttle's coming all the way in. Go ahead and push the throttle all the way in. There we go. Do the little dance. Remember the little dance? Nope, I got the airplane. There we go. Little dance. There we go. Right. Okay, then lift that nose wheel off there.
Right. Okay. So if you haven't noticed, yeah, have a look at the center line behind him. So that's the center
Do the little
line.
dance. Remember the little dance?
Look,
Nope, I got the airplane. There we go. Little
That's the
dance.
center line.
There we go.
That's the center line.
Right. Okay,
center
then lift
line.
that nose wheel off there. Okay, don't fight it. Don't fight it.
So that was one wobbly takeoff, right?
Nice and easy on the controls. And we crab right up the runway. Now see the ball is out of the center there? Okay, so we need a little bit more right rudder pedal. Keep that ball in the center. Now one hand. Okay, nice and loose on the controls. You're killing me on that. You're too tight. Loose. All right, climbing out at about 75, so that's good. Loosen up there a little bit. Loosen up. There we go. Okay. Cessna 260 Sierra, Quebec is just crossing over 30.
Right. So he looks like he's having a tough all time. But again, I have to say, I think it's better than my first flight. As much as he looks like he's struggling, it's better than my first. And that's the thing, like a lot of the time when you struggle, do you know how you feel? You feel like you're the only person in the world struggling. You feel like you're the only person in the world that messed up. You feel like you're the only person in the world that, ever made that mistake. You feel isolated. You feel alone. But the truth is, everyone messes up. The truth is, everyone's got a struggle. It might be different, but everyone's got a struggle. So as much as he's struggling, I can tell he was even better than my first lesson. But that was the first lesson. And then let's have a look. So he's coming.
What I'm going to want you to do now is I want you to do a complete 360. Now that we've done our clearing turns, I want you to do a 360. You know what a 360 means?
Yeah.
Okay, a complete circle. So we're starting out
360.
Yeah, 360. So we're starting out on north. You're going to make a turn all the way around till you're headed north again. Nice standard rate. Then you're going to do one to the right after you do one to the left.
First turn right.
First, you're going to do a one to the left.
To the left.
Okay.
How much is
From here to here, right in there,
Here.
or just level this up so you're staying outside the airplane.
to here? Oh, here.
Okay, that's your bank angle, but look, don't stare in at your instrument. Look outside. See the strut? If that's level with the ground,
Level with the ground. All
then
right.
look, that's right along there. That's standard rate. That's good. Your airplane, keep it at 3,000, coming all the way around.
Right. So that was first lesson. Now let's see first solo.
Good. Down. Yes. Okay. And I will trim. Yes. And fuel shut off on. And brake set. And the throttle was on. On the fade. Left.
Just getting through his checks.
Okay. And the magnet check. Yes. Let's go. In runway 8. Great base.
So at this moment, especially when I did my first solo, Check, check, mic check, mic check. Looks like we're back. Looks like we're back. All right, let's go back to the video. Ah, that's what I was saying. Let me see. Am I getting sound? Am I getting sound? Yes. So at this point, as you're departing, doing your first solo, you realize that it's all in your hands. Like sometimes when you're a student pilot and you got your instructor next to you, there is this kind of tendency to rely on them where you're like, do you know what? Oh, if I didn't hear something on the radio, what do they say? Oh, okay. You know, whereas when you don't have anyone next to you, it's like, if you didn't hear what they say, it's down to you to ask them to say again. And obviously a good instructor won't let you go first solo unless you're doing everything by yourself. Either way, up until this point, you've had a safety net in your instructor being next to you, and suddenly you're like, wait, no one's there? Damn. All right, this better be this better not be my last flight, you know. So it's a very exciting time as a pilot, as a student pilot. Very, very unique moment. And most pilots that I speak to, I'm like, what's your, favorite, like most memorable experience? It's usually first solo.
Repeat traffic setting at 233 Juliet, turning crosswind, runway 8, perfect.
So interestingly enough, this is obviously America. In the UK, generally, you wouldn't call crosswind unless you're joining the circuit. So if I was joining the circuit, I'd call crosswind as I'm overhead joining to then proceed to downwind and then base and final. But the main calls are downwind and final. Crosswind, base, generally, we don't usually call it unless you're going to like a towered airport, airfield, and they say report your right base or report your base or, report crosswind or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting that he's obviously making all the calls. Although when I did my first solo, I was like, I'm going to make every single call, even the calls that, I don't usually make. That's not necessary. I'll just do it just for, kind of maximum visibility. And obviously you've got the student call sign that, people know you're a student on a solo when you say student golf, blah, 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 student golf, whatever. Alpha, Bravo, Delta, Charlie, Delta. So anyways, let's go back to it. So this guy is on his first. Remember how shaky he was, right? Remember how shaky he was in his first lesson, right? Just watch the confidence. So looks like he's on a downwind leg. One thing I will say that I found really, really useful was to memorize the pre-landing checklist, because I realized if I can just do it from memory and not have to flip through the checklist, then I can have more time on the downwind leg just to relax, right? So that's bumfish, right? Brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel, flaps, instruments, then your carb heat, hatches, harnesses, lights, switches, all that kind of stuff. So I got that to memory really quickly so that on my base or on my downwind leg, I can just chill for most of it. So if you watch my first solo, you see that like I just blitzed through my pre-landing checklist and just relaxed afterwards. Looks like he's on the downwind though. Let's have a look. It's a long runway. Very forgiving. Beam the numbers. He's already got flaps deployed.
Great base traffic 723 Juliet, turning face, runway 8, great base.
Next notch of flaps.
Great base traffic 723 Juliet, turning final runway 8, great base.
Full flaps. One of the things that I try to do here on final is to take my hands off the yoke, right? Because what you really want to do is have a stabilized approach. So I try to trim it to the right speed and then let my hands, like let the yoke go, just to check that I'm actually trimmed and stabilized on final. And when I do, generally speaking, my landings are better. If I'm kind of like still adjusting for the speed, then usually my landings aren't as smooth. But obviously this is first solo, first time in an aircraft on his own, first time landing. Again, remember how nervous, how not confident he was in his first lesson compared to his first solo, right? Which this is. Let's just see the landing and then move on from there. Heart beating. Keeping it chilled. Transition, keep it fly level. Nice. That's come up. Yeah, I watched that video like in 2019. I swear, like, I'm making myself too vulnerable in these videos. But I watched that and I was super inspired, right? I was super inspired just seeing how nervous he was, how unsure he was in his first lesson. to his first solo, right? And this is something that can happen to us a lot in life as well, where we make little bits of progress. But when you put a first lesson right next to a first solo, you actually get to see the contrast, the difference, right? And sometimes we need to do that for ourselves and actually look at the first time we did something to when we do it now and see the improvement where we started. And that's why it's so important to remember where you started. Very important to remember where you started. Because a lot of the times, most times you've made insane progress. But you just don't really see it until you compare and contrast. Like, wait, where did I start? Where am I now? And you're like, wow, actually, it's crazy progress. So yeah, that inspired me, man. That inspired me, made me think about my first solo, and made me want to smash my first solo. Made me think about filming my first solo. Made me buy cameras and begin filming my lessons. And yeah, that was like one of the first YouTube channels that I started watching that kind of gave me an idea of what a flying lesson is like. So if you want to watch that video, if you want to watch other videos from that channel, his name is Aviator Mark, then the link is in the description. So feel free to go and check out his other videos. I don't know if he still posts videos that much, but he certainly used to, and it was very useful for me. Anyways, we're going to soon wrap up now. So I'm wondering if I should give you guys a sneak peek of one of the projects that I'm working on. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me see. Nah, I'll save it for next episode. I was going to show you guys a video of me doing salsa in Brighton, which I've just come back from. And that flight was crazy. As we got to Shoreham, suddenly we hit a bank of clouds. And I didn't think we'd get to land. And yeah, we had to make some decisions. We had to have our wits about us. And then we got stuck in Shoreham because the next day we wanted to fly back, but literally everywhere else had good weather apart from Shoreham. There's a bank of fog, or sea fog, right off the coast, right on top of the airfield, so that we couldn't depart. So I had to stay an extra night and pay extra over £100 for accommodation to stay an extra night. So that was an experience, to say the least. But it was very enjoyable because I went there to do salsa, and I'm going to be flying to other places to do salsa. So that's going to be the new project that I'm doing. Fly to places, stay over the night, go to a salsa event, fly back the next day. And as you saw at the beginning of the show, I went with Chris. And usually I open it up to a select few people to say, hey, if you want to fly with me, come fly with me, and get exposure to general aviation, and get to enjoy the beauty and the freedom that comes with flying. Sneak peek. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do this, but I might just do it. So one of the things I've been doing, one of the things that stopped me from producing my own content over the last couple of years, is that I've been working on editing or making videos for other people. In particular, the air pilots. Obviously, they gave me my scholarship that allowed me to get my private pilot's license in 2023. And then almost immediately after I completed my PPL training, they're like, could you make some videos for us? It's like, yeah, okay, I don't mind. But yeah, I enjoy filmmaking. I enjoy, at times making videos for other people. So we've got some promos. I'll share a part of it. Don't know if I'm allowed to share all of it. Yeah, what the heck? Let's go for it. Where is it? Where is it? I'm gonna share. Where is it? The first part you might have seen, but the second part you've definitely not seen. Where is it? Pilot gliding. Check it out.
Shut unlocked, resisting upward pressure. Brakes and canopies closed and locked. Black cable on please.
Best part.
I can't see everything.
Yeah, but everything. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, it was so fun. I felt like I learned so much in just a week.
Generally, it's been really nice actually to
get to know new people.
A gliding scholarship.
Gliding scholarship.
And the scholarship.
Gliding scholarship.
Gliding scholarship.
Gliding scholarship by air pilots.
So that's the part you've seen, but there's a longer bit. There's actually more to it. So this is for the gliding scholarships. I've got another one for the PPL scholarships. What the heck? I might just play a little bit more. Maybe I might just play a little bit more so you can see what might be in the pipeline. Just so you know, the scholarships usually open in November. Gliding scholarship, PPL scholarships usually open sometime in November. So right about now, we've got PPL scholars doing their training. Gliding scholars will usually do their flying around about August time. So, man, what the heck? Okay, let's go. Let's watch a little bit more. So this is still work in progress. No one has seen this. Still work in progress.
And then I went.
I'm at Midlands Gliding Club, and we've spent a week here, a residential, just sort of like learning the introductory stuff, pre-solo gliding. Oh, it was so fun. I felt like I learned so much in just a week. Like, I've been trying to do this for a while, but this just kind of gave me the opportunity to do it all in one. It's just changed my perspective on flying completely. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's opened up a little bit of what the lifestyle could be like, and I love it. These types of scholarships really help you learn so much more than you would elsewhere with sort of shorter courses, but a week's of intense flying just really gets you up to speed. And like the others said, we've learned to land, we've learned to take off, and we've learned circuits and so much more that we've signed up in our logbook.
So there you go. I did it. I shared it. That's still a work in progress. Still editing it. Still got to do color grading. Still got to do sound design. So just remember what it looked like now. And then when it comes out, you'll see the whole thing. But you've just had a sneak preview right here on Future Pilot Debrief live. All right, people. Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back again, live again next week, Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, as long as technology allows, because today my PC decided to restart or bug out and I had to restart it, which took about like 15-20 minutes. But should everything go good, I'll be back here on Monday, live, 7 p.m. If you have thoughts, questions, queries, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment section, particularly on YouTube. I don't know how Kick works, but we're live on Kick as well, kick.com/FuturePilot901. YouTube is FuturePilot901, and follow on Instagram, FuturePilot91. Well, that's it from me. Let's see. So, until next time, this is Future Pilot 901, and my name is D, reminding you to live your dreams. Peace. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901.